Hello everyone, welcome back to our Solidworks course. In this new video, we would be taking another 3D model, and with the help of this 3D model, we would be learning how to use shells and ribs. Let's take a look at our model first. You can see over here that this is our model for this exercise. This is an outer body of a blower. We would be creating this using shells and ribs. You can also take a look at the front view of this model. As seen over here, you can see all the features that we have added in the body. Now, without wasting any time, let's move to SolidWorks and begin with our modeling. Once we have launched SolidWorks, we will begin with our sketching. I will select the right plane and go to the sketch mode. Now I will create the outer profile for my body. I will start with a vertical line, then create a horizontal line and move my cursor back in order to create an arc. Once I've done this, I will create a line which is at an angle, but you can see that the tangent sketch relation is being shown, which is the one that I want. So I will make sure that this line is tangent. Now the next line that I will draw here would be perpendicular to the line. Again, the line that I draw over here would be perpendicular. Now I will again create an arc like this. Next, I will create a horizontal line and then a line which is slightly inclined. As you can see here that it is showing the inclination, that is an angle. Now I will again create an arc like this and then create another line in order to complete a sketch. Now I will press escape and exit the line command. First I will make sure this line is horizontal. I will select the line and make it horizontal. Now I know that the angle between these two lines is 105 degrees, so I will select them using control. I will get into Smart Dimensions command first and then select both of these lines and give them an angle of 105 degrees. Now I know that these two lines over here are at an angle of 150 degrees, so I will enter that over here. Now you can see that our sketch has been disturbed a bit, so I will press escape, exit the line command and align it in order to set it according to our view. Next, what I will do here is that I will select this line and then select this line and give them a tangent relationship. You can see a tangent relationship has already been added over here. Next, what I will do is that I will give these two sketch entities a tangent relationship as well. Again, our sketch has been disturbed a bit. We will again arrange it so that there is no problem. Once we have done this, I will arrange the dimension over here again. And then we can see here all the edges that are connected to our arcs have been given a tangent relationship. Now let's add our dimensions. I will get into the Smart Dimensions command and give this line a dimension of 115 millimeters. I will press enter and give it the dimension. I will give this line a dimension of 30 millimeters. I will press enter and add the dimension. I will move the sketch slightly here so that there is no overlapping. I will select this line and add a dimension, but I will be careful here because I want the dimension parallel to the line. I will enter 40 and give it its dimension. Next here, what I will do is that I will press escape and give some more relations. I will select the arc of this circle over here and I will coincide it with our origin. I will select both of them using a control key and then make coincident. You can see that the arc has been added. We have by mistakenly added the center of this arc to the origin. We will delete the relationship by selecting this icon over here and deleting it. Now if I move, you can see that the center is moving. I will select this center over here, that is the center of this arc. As you can see, it has been highlighted. If I select this arc over here, I will again select this center and with pressing Ctrl I will select the origin. Once I have selected both, I will make them coincident. Now the next thing that I will do here is that set these two vertical. I will select this center, this origin and then make them vertical. Next, again I will select this point over here, press Ctrl and select our origin and then again set it vertical. Now what I will do is that I will give a dimension of this line from our origin, and that would be parallel to this line over here, and this dimension is 90 millimeters. Once I enter it, I will move forward and give the next dimensions. Now, if you notice over here, a sketch has been disturbed because we were giving some dimension over here. I will press escape, zoom in, and then align our sketch so that we have our sketch entities in a proper way. Now, what I will do is that I will set this point, that is the center of this arc, at a distance of 40 millimeters from this edge that I show you. I will go into smart dimensions, select this line, and then this point I will give it a dimension of 40 millimeters. Once I have done this, what I will do is that next I will select this point and this center of the arc and make them vertical. Once I have done that, I will first simply arrange my sketch over here like this. Now you can see that our sketch is in a better state than before. Now here what we will do is that we will define our sketch more. I will first align it properly like this and then move forward. I will continue with giving dimensions to the arcs. This arc is of radius 35 millimeters. This arc over here is of radius 40 millimeters. And this arc over here, that is the biggest one, is at a radius of 75 millimeters. Once we've added radiuses to all our arcs, what we will do, now here we can see that we have added all the dimensions, but our sketch is yet not fully defined. Now we will have to search for our entity which is not defined properly. What you have to do is that you have to simply move one or two of your entities in order to see which one of it is not defined. Let's say this one. Now you can see here we found our cause over here. This line should be perpendicular to this line over here. I will select both of them and give them a perpendicular relationship. You can see this is how we found out the cause for our problem and then solved it. Now we can see here that our sketch is now completely defined. What we will do over here is that now we'll go to features, select extrude boss base and then extrude this for a distance of 25 millimeters. Once we have extruded this, we will click on OK and generate our extrude. Now the next step here is that we add a draft. You all saw before that we were adding drafts from the extrude command itself, but now we will add it separately. We will add draft from here. We'll select the draft option from here and then first option here says to specify the neutral plane. We will select the neutral plane over here and then specify the faces where we want to add a draft. I will select this face. Specifically, I will select all the faces that are on the side and generate a draft. We will leave this face, that is for our outlet. We will keep it straight itself. Now that I have specified my neutral plane or the neutral face and all the faces where I want a draft to be added, I will enter my draft degree to be 2 degrees and I will click on OK. You can see here that the draft has been added like this. But here we see that the draft added is outwards. Now when we give a fillet, we will have to give a fillet to this one where the draft is being generated. You have to be careful that you have to add the fillet only to the edges where the draft has been created. For example, I will again set it from the side view and show you that where it is tapering, that is where you want to add your draft. Once we have done this, what we will do is that we will add our fillets. When we add our fillets, now what we have to do is that once we have specified all the faces over here, we will click on OK and generate the draft. If I set this to be viewed from this direction, we can see here that an invert draft has been generated. Now what we will do is that we will add fillets. I will go to the fillets option over here and then select the edges where I want a fillet to be added. I will select this edge over here and give it a value of 16 millimeters. Now I want to add a fillet of 16 millimeters over here as well, so I will select this edge and then click on OK. Now we want to add a fillet of 11 millimeters to this edge over here. We will again go to the fillet command and select this edge, but we want a fillet of 11 millimeters, so I will change it from 16 to 11, and again I will select more entities from over here. This is the one that I want. The options shown over here are not valid, so I will select the edges manually. You can see over here that the complete edge has been selected. I will click on OK and then generate the fillet. You can see now that it is beginning to take its shape. Now I will show you a new feature, that is draft analysis. I will explain it to you what it is while we do it. We go to evaluate and then select draft analysis from over here. It is asking from which plane have we created a draft. If I hover my mouse over here, it is asking the direction of pull. I will select this face and specify the direction of pull as the opposite one. Now this is the direction of my pull. Now I will specify the degree that I have been given the draft of, that is 2 degrees. If I specify here, you can see that this is how the colors have been changed. Here we have 3 colors. A positive draft. Positive draft is nothing but, let's say I selected this as my neutral face and my draft is generated in this direction as well. So these edges that I have added a draft on would be shown as positive draft. As this is a neutral plane, that it has been shown in negative color in the negative draft section. And this face that we had kept straight and we had not added a draft is being shown in yellow. If I click on OK, here you can see that we have again the 3 options: positive draft, requires draft and negative draft. I will explain this to you again. Let's say this is my neutral plane and the direction of pull is upwards like this. So we had selected these faces and given them an angle of draft that is 2 degrees. Now if your draft is in this direction, these faces would be shown in green, showing that there is a positive draft. Now if my pull direction was downwards and I had given a draft in this direction, it would have shown it in the negative draft section, and the face that is straight has been shown that it requires a draft. This is how you read it. If you want to see how the negative draft is being shown, I will do the draft analysis again. I will first turn it off from here and then again turn it on. From here again I will select this face as my neutral face, and you can see here now that my pull direction is downwards and we have created a draft over here. It is showing this region in the negative draft part. If I click on OK, you can see that again these 3 colors are being shown, but now the top part is red, showing that the draft is negative. I hope this was clear. This is how you perform draft analysis. I will turn it off from over here by clicking on it. Now we will move forward and create a shell for this. It is not difficult. I will show you how to do it. We will now go to features and then select shell from our options over here. We have a shell option over here. If we click on shell and specify the face from which the shell is supposed to be created, and we also specify this face along which the shell will be created. If I enter 2 mm over here and say show preview, you can see that a preview is being shown. This part on the inside would be cut and only the outside shell, that is of thickness 2 mm, will be maintained or created. If I click on OK, now you can see that this is how our shell has been created. It was a simple one-step process and we didn't have to do much. Now you can see that we have almost created our geometry. What we need to do next is that we need to add 2 ribs, 3 cuts and then 1 screw mounting hole over here. How we will do that? Let's take a look. Now here I want the rib to start at a distance of 3 mm from this face. So what I will do is that first I will create a plane. With this selection, I will go to the drop down of reference geometries and select planes. You can see here that this has already been added to my first reference. Now I want a plane at a distance of 3 mm, but I want it in the opposite direction, so I will select flip offset. Now once I have done this, what I will do is that I will click on OK and then my plane would be generated. From here I will click on my plane and then select sketch. I will set it normal to my screens using Ctrl 8 and then next I will create the reference feature for my rib. I will simply create two lines over here, but make sure that your lines have no relationship with the edges. It is like this. I will show you how. See, this is how your line should be created. It needs to be a vertical line, but there should be no other relationships for these edges. It should be at a distance from the edges. I will tell you why. Now we will define these lines. This line is at a distance of 125 millimeters from the extreme edge on the right. I will press 125 and enter. Now these two lines are at a distance of 50 millimeters from each other. I will press enter and then enter the dimension. Here you can see that my line has moved out of the shell. I will pull it back inside. Now that these two lines or the endpoints of these two lines are inside my shell, I can move forward and create my rib. I will go to features and then select rib from over here. Now if I rotate my geometry, you can see that the arrow is pointing downwards and that is the direction of creation of my rib. I will select mid plane as my thickness should be on either sides of this line. Now I will enter the thickness of my rib, that is 2 millimeters. Once we have done this, I will click on OK and you can see here that it has created a rib up till all the edges. We did not have to specify the endpoints. The command is smart enough to create a rib up till all the surfaces over here. Now that we have created a rib, we have to create a small cut over here. What I will do is that I will select this face and then sketch on it. I will press Ctrl 8 and then set it normal to the screen. I will zoom in a bit over here and then create a 3-point arc. I will show you how. My first point is over here, the second point is over here, and third point is over here. You can see that I have selected the plane or the edge of my rib as my reference. I will press escape and start defining this arc. I will go to the smart dimension, select this edge over here, the vertex, and select the center point of my 3-point arc. I will give it a value of 17 millimeters and click enter. Next, I will give this a radius of 8.5 millimeters. I will enter 8.5 over here, and this is how you can see that my arc is being defined. Now what I will do is that in order to completely define it, I will select this point and then this edge over here, leave my control point and say make coincident. You can see here that my geometry has been defined, my sketch has been defined. Now this is still a open sketch. I will close it by using the line command. I will draw a line from the first point to the other and then close it. I will go to features and select extruded cut. From here you can see that it has already selected the profile. Now I will generate a cut through these two ribs. From here I will specify up to surface and provide this surface as the input. If I click on OK, you can see that my cut in the ribs has been generated. Next, we will add the screw mounting hole over here. For that, I will create a new plane. First, I will hide this plane by clicking on it and select hide from the options over here. Now, I will create another plane that will be using this plane as the reference itself. I will go to reference geometry and then enter a value of 2.5 millimeters. Once I have done this, I will first check the direction in which the plane is being generated. Here it is being generated away from the face. I want it in the opposite direction. From here I will say flip offset and then click on OK. Once my plane has been generated, what I will do is that I will start sketching on it. I will select the plane, go and select sketch. I will press Ctrl 8, set it normal and start sketching over here. I will zoom in a bit so that we have better control. I will select this circle sketch entity from here and draw a circle over here like this. Now what I will do is that I will define the center point of this circle. The center of this circle is at a distance of 4 millimeters from this edge over here. I will select both of them and enter 4. Next, the edge of the circle is at a distance of 20 millimeters from this bottom edge over here. I will select both of them and say 20. Next, I will give this circle its diameter. The diameter of this circle is 5 millimeters. I will click on the screen and enter 5. You can see here that we have a circle completely defined. But here I want to trim this edge. For that, first I will go to convert entities and then convert this edge over here onto our current sketch. I will click on OK and you can see that it has converted this entity. Now I will go to trim entities and trim all the other entities that are not required. For example, these 3 over here. Now this is the part that we need to extrude. From features, I will select extruded boss base. It has already selected our profile or contour. I will say reverse direction from here, and from the options I will select up to next. You can see here this is the preview of our feature that would be generated. I will click on OK and then generate this feature. Now we have to create a hole on this face over here. I will select this face, go to sketch and then create a circle on this sketch. But before, we will set it normal to our screens. Zoom in over here, select the circle sketch entity, use this circle as my reference. I will hover my mouse over it until it shows me the reference points. I will move my cursor over here, select the center and draw a circle of diameter 2. I will go into the smart dimensions command, select this circle and give it a diameter of 2 millimeters. Now I want this circle to cut a circular hole in this, and the depth of the hole would be 12 millimeters. I will select blind and enter 12 over here. You can see this is showing us the preview. If I click on OK, you can see here that our hole has been generated. If I press Ctrl 7, it will set it to isometric, and if I rotate it, you can see that our shape is almost there. Now I will hide the plane as it no longer serves a purpose for us. Now we will end the sketch by creating the cuts over here. For that, I will sketch on this face over here. I will select this face, select sketch and press Ctrl 8. Once we are into the sketch mode, we will create a parallelogram over here. I will select parallelogram and draw a parallelogram like this. Once it is generated, we will define it using dimensions. I will give it a width of 43 millimeters and a height of 3 millimeters. Once we have added this, we will specify the endpoints of it. For example, we will first specify this point over here. I will zoom in a bit. I will select this point, and from the top surface, that is the horizontal line, I will give it a dimension of 5 millimeters. Next, I will again select the same point and give it a dimension of 115 millimeters from this edge over here. I will enter 115 and press the enter key. Now, as this is a parallelogram, we need to first make these two lines perpendicular. I will select both of them using the control key and then make them perpendicular. Once I have done this, I will set it at an angle. I will go into smart dimensions. I will select this line and then I will select the topmost line over here and give them an angle of 35 degrees. Once we have done that, you can see here our sketch is completely defined. I will go to features, select extruded cut and say through all. You can see here this is how our preview is being shown. If I click on OK, you can see that our cut has been generated. Now we have to simply pattern this. I will select linear pattern and you can see here that it has selected our previous cut as it was the latest part and it was under selection. Now I will set it so that we can see our lines properly, and now in direction I will select any vertical direction, let's say this small edge over here. Now it is generating the patterns in the wrong direction. I will say reverse direction and enter 3. Also, I will specify the distance between or the spacing for my pattern to be 6 millimeters. You can see here now that we have entered all the parameters in a proper way. I will click on OK and generate our cut. You can see here that we now have all our features from the hole to mount the screw, these ribs, and here you can see that we have these cuts over here. If you take a close look, this is how our blower assembly or the outer body of our blower is looking like. I hope all the functions that were taught to you in this video were clear and you have understood how to use each one of them. I will advise you to practice this on your own. I hope it was fun learning how to create this outer body of the blower. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.